Hello, if everyone's tuning in, bear with me one moment. I'm just going to find the live and make sure it's working and the volume's working. If you're here, leave a comment. Hello, it's Melinda from Scrapbooking and Craft. How are you all going tonight? Do we have volume? Or am I talking to myself? Hopefully. Hello, if everyone's tuning in. There we go, it's working on my phone. That's always good when I'm bringing up my phone and it's working. Now to... if Facebook would stop changing everything. And I've got all these pop-up windows got to get rid of. So welcome. If you are joining me tonight for a live for my new product release, let me mute myself and then I can do all this other stuff. So welcome. I'll get started in just a jiffy. Sorry I'm a few minutes late. So out of practice. Oh my god. I thought I was all ready and then I forgot I had to rearrange my entire computer so I can see comments. Oh my god. I don't know what planet I'm on today. Obviously not planet Earth. This should be fun. So if you are joining us, welcome. We will get started in just a minute. Hope everyone's had a wonderful day. As people come in and find the live, let's just pop that up there. So I've grabbed a few products to play with, a couple from our new release. So this weekend or yesterday I released a bunch of new products. I know December is a really bad time for having extra money to go buy crafty supplies, unless you're getting them as gifts. This release was supposed to come in October, but life happened. And that didn't happen. So if I didn't do it in December, it wouldn't have happened till February. So I thought, I'm just going to put it up in December. It'll be up on the website and it'll be there for whenever anyone can find that little extra bit of cash, which is a bit hard nowadays. Everything is getting so pricey and everything is going up in price and costing more. I know my budget is is fun and games lately, but we will get there. So if you are joining us, pop in a comment. I'm just getting the comments up on my screen so I can read them. And let's get started. So a couple of the new products I grabbed to play with. What did I grab to play with? I grabbed one of the black embellishment die cuts. Little girl sitting, or woman sitting at her artist easel. I thought that would be fun to play with. So there's a lot of black cardstock cutouts this month. I haven't done any of these in white, but if you do want them in white, so the black cardstock is basically black to stick straight on your page because they're a thinner 210 GSM cardstock. So they don't like taking a lot of mixed media. But I usually also do cut the same items out of white mixed media Arty cardstock. I just haven't got around to that yet. So you can certainly request them. Just place an order and then pop a note on your order. And I will, I can do that for you. The other thing I grabbed to play with was this stencil. I've also got off to the side these two new stencils I've been playing with, so we'll be playing with some stencils as well. Not sure really what I'm doing. That's usually how my art journal pages started. Then I was fishing around and I thought I'll use a couple of napkins to get a colour palette to work with. So I grabbed this one because this one looked arty with the flowers, and that's where I've grabbed my colours from. Different colour combination palette than I'd usually use. Dark blue, pink and orange, but we're just going to go with it. We might just make a mess tonight, but that's okay. Art journaling for me is all about the doing, not the finished project. Then when I was flipping through my napkins, I noticed this one. And sorry for what I said was hangry. I'm not going to use hangry, but I thought, oh, there's an A, and there's an R, and there's a Y. The only letter I'm missing is a T, and I can easily make that from a H. So we're going to have, sorry for what I said when I was arty on our page as our title. I love this napkin. I don't buy a lot of the wordy napkins when Alexis and I go out napkin hunting, just because they're not real appropriate for art journaling. I tend to like the picture-y ones. But I did like this one, and I thought we could take the word hangry off. Sorry for what I said when I was, and we're going to turn it into arty. That's the idea that's sparking in my brain. Let's see if that's actually what happens on the art journal page. So I'm thinking, do I want a napkin first or do I want to paint first? I don't know. Okay, so this is going to go down here, thereabouts. So what I've done is I've just pre-gessoed my page. The only reason I've pre-gessoed it is if you can look carefully, there's a black half a car under this side and there's some text under this side. We're going to cover all that up. I am working in one of my altered books. I do love to work in my altered books. So this is actually an altered car book that I've nearly filled up actually. So I have pre-gessoed the page and put some masking tape down the spine just to hold the spine together. I don't do it on every page, but I have done it on this page. So welcome, welcome if you're coming in and joining us. We are going to have a play with some new December products. Hoping to do a couple of lives tomorrow. Today just, oh God, today just went. Thing after thing after thing happened. And just didn't get on earlier in the day. But that's alright. That's how life goes at the moment. Just deciding whether I want to paint or whether I want a napkin first. I think I want to put some paint down. So in my idea, this girl is going to sit over here. Our title, sorry for what I said when I was arty, is sort of going to go over here. And the background is going to be stuff. Flowers and stenciling and stuff. That's the idea. So I'm just going to start with some paint while I'm picking up the napkin. Okay, so from the napkin I picked my colours. So we have picked Lime from Dina Wakley. Hi Jane, how you going? Which sort of matched here. I've picked Cheddar, which sort of matched this orange. It's a bit darker, but I couldn't find my... That's Sedona. I couldn't find my Cheddar. I don't know where it's gone. Lapis is sort of this colour. And Blushing is sort of not particularly that colour, but it was the closest I could find. I've also grabbed a pink ink, which is probably a bit closer. So, get my mouse out of here, where my mouse can go over. Oh, I don't want it decorated. Let's get it off the desk. Otherwise, it will get decorated in paint. Oh, that's why that's not going in properly. Just trying to protect the next pages so I don't get paint everywhere. Okay, let's get going and just get some paint down, I think. I'm going to start with the lightest colour, so I'm going to start with Blushing. And I'm going to finger paint today because I didn't grab any water to clean my brushes. And I like to finger paint. Hopefully it doesn't wobble the bench too much. I have been meaning to jump on and do a few more lives. It has been quite a while since I did one. It's just life keeps getting in my way. Oh, lately, I plan my week and then plans change. I felt all I have done this year is rang up different places and changed appointments and rescheduled things. And when you reschedule one thing, it's a domino effect. And it reschedules the next thing and the next thing. And oh my God, it's fun and games when you're dealing with so many specialists, so many doctors, so many just things for the household. It's fun and games. And if anyone's ever went and saw a specialist, you know how lovely they are at trying to make appointments and changing appointments. Not very lovely at all. So just putting some of the Dina Wakley, what are we doing? Blushing down. It is sort of, once it got out of the tube, sort of more like the orange colour. Oh well, we're going with it. Couldn't find a pinker one. That's alright. I don't really like pink anyway. Because we're putting it on with our finger, it's going on quite, what's the word? Words would be good tonight. Quite thin, and it dries really quickly, so that's almost dry now. Which is good. Okay, let's go in with our sort of secondary colour. What am I going to go in with? Lime, or am I going to go in with Sedona? I tend to like to start with my lighter colours and put down more of them. And then, let's get a baby wipe. My hand's going to end up covered. So I like to start with my sort of lighter colour of my 3 or 4 colours I pick and then go darker and darker. Okay. Now let's go with lime. Lime, I might have to grab a paintbrush to get out because I do need to go shopping and restock some of my colours. Yep. For some reason I don't like green, but I do use lime a lot lately. I don't know why. Let's grab a paintbrush. It'll fit in the tube. And let's spread that all around. We're going to put that cap so we don't lose it. Because that pink's dry, it's not going to mix and make mud, hopefully. Let's cross our fingers. Usually we don't put green and pink together. It's like putting two colours in together that make mud. Let's not make mud tonight. That's not our goal. So it's interesting, when you think your paint is empty, it's amazing how much is still hiding in there. So I hope everyone's getting ready for Christmas. Now it's December. How did that happen? November just went this year. The last couple of months have just gone. Can't believe it's December. I've been booking all appointments into 2024. It's like, wow. It'll be 2024 before we know it. Oh, I don't know. So just sort of filling in some of the spaces, hoping to put more of the lighter colours down than go too dark. But we'll see. Where do we else want some green? Let's get this green off my brush that I've now got up my entire lot of my brush from sticking it in my paint pot. Might give that green a little bit of a dry because it is going on a bit thicker than the pink. So if you're catching this on replay another day, I know weekends everyone's out and about, and I know Christmas season everyone's busy. So if you're catching this on replay, it will be always available on Facebook and YouTube, which will be good. You can catch up whenever you like. Doesn't take much to dry. Let me just wipe my paintbrush. I didn't bring any water over here. I usually forget to do that. Okay, now I want to bring in these bit darker colours, but only a little bit, and I'll probably end up leaving a bit of white here and there, which I don't mind. So we'll come in with what's this one again? Sedona. A little bit here. I only put 3 spots of this in. Let's just go a little bit of this colour. Bit of a weird colour combination, but hopefully it works. I don't mind that the paint's a bit, what am I trying to think of? Not so, like all bold. It's got some whiteness and it's not all the solid one colour, which is nice. Don't know whether I'm liking that colour now. I'll put it down. That's right. We can always put another colour on top of it. We'll see how, we'll add some blue and we'll see how it's looking. Probably would have been better if I could find my cheddar. I don't know where it is. It's probably sitting in a class box when we used it last in a class and had it unpacked. Let's bring a bit of the blue in, and that might help balance it. Whoops. So I'm hoping to get on and do some more lives going forward, but it's just, at the moment, life is just, gets in my way of doing what I want to do. But I've got a few videos coming out. I've got a new online class coming out today or tomorrow. I've just got to finish editing the video and then it's all ready to go. So I've been doing a lot of work in the background, just haven't been on live, and we've got all our design team now on board, which we've got 6 lovely ladies that are working with our products and making some gorgeous things. So they are all on board and introduced, and going forward from December, every month they will have projects up, which will be fantastic. And oh, I've seen some of their December makes. Oh, they're beautiful. They're very clever little chickadees, those people. Don't know whether I like the blue either. I don't know. I tend to want to put weird colours together. I should stick to the rule of cools and warms, shouldn't I? But no, I like breaking all the rules. I think I might do some reverse stenciling over the top to calm the colours down. In a minute. Put a bit more blue up there. Pages have to go through an ugly stage, don't they? And then hopefully they come out at a pretty stage at the end. Okay. I think I need a little bit more blue somewhere here just to balance it a little bit. Okay, we'll give that a bit of a dry, and we'll bring some stenciling in, I think. Okay, so I'm going to bring in either one of these stencils because these work really well for the next technique. Just going to stand up and find my white paint. No, that says buff. That's not what I want. That says apricot. Try again. Heather, really? 4th time lucky? No, of course not. Why is my white? Oh, it's on my desk. I don't know. I should put things away, shouldn't I? So I'm thinking I'm going to do some white stenciling, but backward stenciling. And the first time you see this, you have a bit of a heart attack, but that's okay. We need baby wipes at the ready. Because instead of putting... There's a packet of baby wipes. Instead of putting paint through our stencil, we are actually going to put paint down and rub it back through our stencil. So basically we're going to have this design left with the stenciling instead of putting a lot of white through it. It's really cool if you've never seen reverse, I think it's called reverse stenciling or backward stenciling. Why does my white paint not want to play nice tonight? What have I got to stick into my white paint? Or I'll have to go with another colour. I wonder if this will work. Nope. Oh, now it's going to come out. Must have heard me. Oh, must have just had a bit of excess paint in there. Okay, I'm going to use paintbrush white, this one. So to do this technique, it has to work over already dry acrylic paint or sealed matte medium. If you try to do this on raw paper, it doesn't work so well. So I'm just going to go over the blue. People go, oh, what are you doing? While your paint is still dry, wet, can't let it dry. We are going to place the stencil over the top and wipe. Changing your baby wipe around to different sections. And why is it not working? Of course it won't work. It usually works. Now I've just got a mess. Let's take it off and start again. Did I rub back to the book, did I? Let's put blue paint down again. We'll dry it and we'll start that again. I think I rubbed too much off. Now I've got too much blue paint down. My paint was dry, so it should have worked. Works all the time when I do it, when I'm not filming and when I'm not on camera, and then you go to do something on camera, and of course it doesn't want to work. So blue is our first layer. We're going to dry that off, and then we're going to put white on top, put our stencil on top, and make some magic. I'll make a big mess like before. Okay, let's just let that paint sit a little and behave itself. We're going to do a little bit down here. So again, going to put some white paint down. You've got to be fairly quick because you don't want your paint to dry. Sort of paint it where you want it. You want a fairly thin layer. I'm going to bring it over into the brownie colour too. Grab your stencil, take two, pop your stencil down. Ah, that's working a bit better. Gently rub, and gently rub, line our stencil up again, and you're actually getting the reverse design of your stencil, which is really cool. See how I've got this, the outline of the stencil, the paint that was left under the stencil is staying on my page, which makes it really cool. That worked. Why didn't it work over there? This paint might be a little thick, but we'll make it work. I'm just going to cover up here, and we're going to continue this bit. I'm going to do it up here as well. You usually don't want to do a big section of your paint in case it dries. Oops, let's not throw paintbrushes. Then you just want to line your stencil up again so it sort of looks continuous. Oh, there we go, that's working really nicely. You want to keep changing your baby wipe around so you get your paint in different spots. I'm going to pick that up, I'm going to line that up here. Sometimes you get a better look than others. Sometimes it will be more defined in the shape. That's the word. Words tonight are just not coming naturally. But I really like that. You also need to do it in a really contrasting colour. So white on a darker colour works. Black on a lighter colour works. So the more contrasting your colour, or the more contrasting your colour, the better it works. Let's do it up here. See how that's toned down those darker colours? Come on, paint. Be nice tonight. Why do my paints not like me tonight? Right. Rip its head off. Oh, God. Maybe I shouldn't come on and do lives. Everything goes wrong. Oh, I don't know. At least you come here to see what not to do. But no, we've got it to work. So that's the main thing. It's also very warm here tonight. The weather lately has been funny. I've got a jumper on one night, and then I'm blooming hot and got the aircon on the next. I don't think our weather can make up our mind. We've had bad storms here the last few weeks. Thunder so loud it makes you jump out of your chair and say naughty words. Or is that just me when it's bright and thundering? So you're also wanting to use a stencil for this technique that has lots of holes or is quite lacy. So this sort of stencil works really well. This one would work really well, but there is quite a bit of sort of space between the shapes, so that one doesn't work quite as well. This one works really well, and I'm going to continue this down here. Now, blue, you are going to work. You're going to behave, and it's going to work. This white, for some reason, is quite thick. Dina Wakley paints are a heavy body paint, so they're thicker anyway. But for some reason, it's been a long day. The white is a bit thicker. I'm going to just do that much in case it wants to dry quickly. There we go. And it looks more cohesive if you keep lining the stencil up. So this one's a really easy stencil to line up. I've actually been playing with this stencil a lot. I grabbed one of these out of the new stuff, and I think this is like the third art journal page I've used it on, because it's been on my desk. I have to grab some of the new other designs out to play with. And last little bit up there. Oh, I'm liking how that's looking. Might bring it down here even in a minute. So we'll do that last little bit over here. Looks like I have to put Dina Wakley White on my shopping list as well as lime. Maybe Santa can bring me some new paints. And don't be afraid to continue this pattern off into the other colours. So I've gone a bit higher into the Sedona colour, and I've gone down a bit here. You won't really see the bit down there, but it's sort of, you don't have to keep it contained to the colour you're doing it on top of, if that makes sense. Not a lot might make sense tonight. It's been a long day. It's probably been a long day for everyone, but oh well. If we get to the end and I don't like the art journal page, it'll be an exercise in what not to do, but that's okay. It's getting there. Just like a little bit up the top needs to come off. Okay, that's looking really nice, but I need to do some here and a little there. Let's just cover all these colours with it, will we? Sorry if you can hear banging. I've got neighbours banging car doors out the front of my house at the moment. We must have visitors next door. It's Saturday night, they usually have visitors and a party. See how that's toning down the colour and it's not as bright and intense, but you've still got that little bit of colour coming through. And we're going to do some here as well. Why not? We'll just do it everywhere. I might bring it down in this bit here. A bit more white paint. So again, I'm going to line up my stencil somewhere up here. This baby wipe probably needs to be changed. So you want your baby wipes to be not sopping wet, but not dry as well. You want them to be sort of good and damp. Where are we going with this one? In the whole scheme of things, if you don't line it up exactly perfect, it really doesn't matter. It's a little forgiving that way. Okay, I'm liking that. I think we'll stop there. Knowing when to stop is hard. Where's the other paintbrush down there? Actually, I might just put these paintbrushes in a wet baby wipe or a damp baby wipe so they don't dry completely. Okay, now that's almost dry, but we're going to give it a bit of a dry, and it's coming together. I think we might do some stenciling on the other colours, but with archival ink, and it will tone it down a bit. Or do I want to add napkins and then I'll do stenciling? I've got paint all over my fingers, no surprise. I'm usually covered in paint when I'm art journaling. Good old hand test on the page. If you get paint on your hand, it's not dry yet. Hang on, I'm just going to flick those comments to see if they're... Sometimes my comments don't move on my screen and you sort of have to scroll. If I do miss your comment and you ask a question, I will go back after the live and go through the chat to make sure I haven't missed any questions. What am I doing now? Now, do we go napkin or we do stenciling? I think we go napkin. So my daughter sells a bunch of napkins on our website. We've got some beautiful new Christmas ones I'm hoping to play with tomorrow. I just wasn't feeling Christmas tonight. It's a bit early for Christmas. It's only December 2nd. Never too early for crafty Christmas. Okay. I do need some water. To cut out my napkins. Give me 2 seconds. I'll grab a jar of water. I'm lucky I have a sink within about a metre, or my kitchen sink, within... I just put paint on my trousers, whoopsies. I have a sink within about a metre of my craft desk, which makes cleaning up so handy. Okay, let's put those stencils to the side. So my daughter sells a lot of napkins on our website every time we go out and find a stash of napkins. Mum, do we have this napkin? Mum, do we have that one? And napkins follow us home. They're so fun to use in your art. We actually sell them on the website in a pack of 2, so you don't have to get 20 of the one design. You can get more designs for your money. And we have, yeah, quite a few. I was organising the boxes the other day and trying to condense them, and the new ones wouldn't fit in a box. So napkins often come in 2 or 3 ply, so basically means 2 or 3 layers. So you need to peel the white layers off the back so you've got a very translucent top layer. The way to check if you've got all the layers off is to grab something with text on it. Grab this stamp. And if you lay your napkin over in a whitish area, you should be able to almost see your text. If it's a bit cloudy, it means that you need to go and pull another layer off. 99% of the napkins have 2 layers or 2 ply, but a couple do have 3 ply, so you have to take the 2 white ones off. Don't throw your white ones out because you can use those. This one actually has a tiny bit, you probably won't be able to see it, tiny flowers. A bit of the print has come through to the second layer, but you can stamp on the additional layers, the white layers, and use them in your art as well. Okay, I'm going to do some water cutting of the napkin, and basically that means we get a paintbrush of some description that's not too big. Here we go, paintbrush. We use water to actually cut out our objects from our napkin. And what I'm just thinking where and what I want to use. So I think I want to put this flower up here. So all I want to do is get my paintbrush, not sopping wet, but wet enough. So any part of the napkin that's white, when we glue it down, will almost disappear into our page or our project. And as the napkins are translucent, so they're semi-see-through, you will see some of the bottom layers of your paint or whatever you're putting the napkin on. So just be a bit aware of that. So I've just traced around this little collection of flowers here, and as you can see, it's wet, so it's pulling. You have to be a bit careful when you wet the napkin, it gets quite fragile. And then you can just basically pull the piece out you want. Yes, I could cut it with scissors. The reason I don't like cutting it with scissors is when you fray it with the water, you get this fuzzy effect. And when you glue it down, the fuzzy effect or the not sharp, not straight lines from the scissors fade into your page a bit better. Sorry, words are not my friend today. I'm a bit tired today. So that's going to go up there. I think we're going to aim to put the napkins in bits where we don't have this stenciling. So for example, if I stuck the napkin over this blue bit, you're going to see this come through, which we might do that a bit as well. What else do we want to use? We want to might grab this flower and put it down here. So I'm taking advantage of the ones that have got a straight edge on the side when I want to stick them on the side of my art journal page, and I like that little dots. So this one almost looks like a mixed media piece of artwork. Stay up there. So when your napkin gets wet, just be very, very careful, as you could tear it in the wrong spot. You sort of want to hold your fingers either side of where you want to tear and just gently separate. Okay, I'm going to stick that one down there. Let's do things in threes. So we need another flower. We're going to do the same flower over here. This is going to have, let's grab our girl out of our bit of paper and sit our girl where she's going to sit and see what other things we like. So I think we're going to sit her down here, and she's maybe looking at painting. I was thinking of doing like a scene, like a tree, and like doing a whole scene that she's looking at painting, which I might do another day, but I thought this will do a bit more of an abstracty one tonight. Feeling a bit abstracty, so I'm looking for another flower that I think we might do this one. Because this one's on the edge of the napkin. So some of the napkins have square panels of design, and this one is like that. See, these designs don't continue. And then some of the napkins, I want that bit of green. Some of the napkins have continuing, and I just tore it, but that's where I want to tear it anyway. Continuing patterns. So over the whole napkin, you get the entire pattern, and it just repeats itself. I think the problem is I haven't eaten dinner tonight. Whoops. I thought I'll get this and this done before my live, and then where did the time go? It's just gone. Maybe my brain won't work properly because... Come on, napkin. And the napkins sometimes tear better in one direction than the other, and it's usually the other direction that I want to tear it. But I'm just moving my fingers quite close to the bit I'm tearing. I'm not trying to hold it up here and tear it down here. So that's another tip as well. And the napkins started a pack of 2 for 75 cents. So they're not an expensive thing if you accidentally rip one or accidentally mess one up. And the reason we sell them in packs of 2s is I say 1 to mess up and 1 to use. So I'm going to take this bit of white off this bit just because I want to. It would almost disappear into the... There's a bit of extra white here that's all wet that I'll just try to tear out without tearing the other things I don't want to tear. So tearing it's not an exact science, but it works. Okay, so I think that one's going to go over there somewhere. Rule of threes. We'll stick with rule of threes. Okay, let's stick that down. Now, what do we stick our napkins down with? We stick them down with a really liquid glue. So the best glue that I like to use is, there's my aircon remote sitting on top of all my stuff. So I might turn the aircon on, it's a bit warm in here. So if you hear a bit of noise, it's my aircon. It's directly above my desk, so I either freeze or I swelter in winter. Okay, so gluing napkins down. Because this is really thin and fragile, so if you're gluing napkins, collage paper from like Stamperia, or who else does collage papers? ScrapFX did them. They're not in business anymore. Tissue paper, if you get a present around Christmas time in tissue paper, any thin papers like that, acrylic matte medium, and this is one particular brand called Montmark. This is a nice affordable brand. You could also buy Liquitex acrylic matte medium, but you want one that says acrylic matte medium. You don't want one that says gel medium. So gel medium is a thicker consistency. It's almost like texture paste, and it's no good for napkins. You want one that's nice and thin. You could use Mod Podge, but I don't like the finish of Mod Podge. I'm trying to use this up for another reason. That's why it's on my desk. It tends to be a bit shiny and sticky in my art journals. If you like Mod Podge, go for it. Some people like it, some people don't. You could water down some PVA school glue. Again, it's going to leave it a bit more shiny than the matte medium. And you want one that says matte, because this does come in gloss as well. Okay, paintbrush time. Well, my paintbrushes are probably over at my sink because I was painting gel medium. And I'm going to use this one. I try to keep Pacific paintbrushes for the acrylic matte medium and my gesso, and keep other paintbrushes for watercolours so they don't get all gooped up. And all my paintbrushes are probably over at the sink drying. So as you can hear, this is quite a runny glue, which is really good for any of these thinner papers. And if you ask your friends and family to wrap your presents for Christmas in tissue paper, there's usually some gorgeous Christmas tissue papers around that you can save and use in your art journal. So I pour a blob where I'm going to put my napkin, spread it out. This dries matte, so you almost don't see the glue. So if I put a bit of glue beyond the area of the napkin, doesn't matter. Then I'm going to gently, I want this to go in the corner, gently put my napkin down, press it down, put some more glue on top. Yes, I could squirt some into a paint palette, but that's something else to clean. I just throw it straight in my book. So once your napkin gets a bit wet, don't touch it a lot because it gets really fragile. So you want to put a blob of matte medium in the middle or whatever glue you're using, and start from the middle and start going out. You only want to go over any part of the napkin once or maybe twice. You don't want to go over and sort of scrub at it because you will tear it. So starting in the middle and sort of having your brush strokes coming to the edge will push any air bubbles out. The napkins do leave a texture on your page, which is really cool, but it shouldn't be very lumpy. You're trying to get it as smooth as possible, but the napkins do leave a bit of texture on your page. God, words tonight, seriously. Note to self, don't do lives at 7:30 at night. Oh my God. But I'm like this in person at classes too, so you get me how you get me. It doesn't matter if I'm doing a class at 9 o'clock in the morning or that. Sometimes I can't find words either, and I can't really see what I'm doing there, so I think that's in the right spot. So I've got plenty of goop on my paintbrush at the moment, but I do need some more on. And you'll notice that any of the white bits, and I don't think I have glue under that bit, so I'm going to gently peek under there and put some glue. So the white bits of the napkin that don't have printing will almost disappear on your page. If you look really, really closely, you'll see it, but who looks that closely at their art journal page? There we go. You don't want big blobs of the acrylic matte medium on your napkin, so you want to brush it out until it's all flat. But they will dry and it will look like you've probably hand painted the flowers on because you almost won't see the napkin. Let's put that back up there for a minute. Sometimes the napkins disappear a lot better on certain colours. Sometimes they will show up a bit more. It's just Murphy's Law. It does what it does. But 99% of the time it disappears. So again, I want to get that quite close to the side of the page where the flat bit was. Oops. And just starting in the middle and sweeping out. So same technique if you're using rice paper, if you're using collage paper, same technique, put some glue on your art journal page or on the paper you're wanting to glue it on, pop your image down and gently go over the top of it. The reason we go over the top of it, there's a couple of reasons. One, it seals the napkin in to the page, seals it to the page. And if you've got any areas underneath that you missed, putting it over the top, it'll soak through the napkin and help glue it on the page. Because ideally, I forgot to mention, acrylic matte medium is a glue. Let me grab. Because I pour this out, I get goop all over the side and then my lid sticks to each other. So I'm trying to be good and wipe the top of my container. So acrylic matte medium is an adhesive or is a glue. I want to go back in my box where it comes from. Something's moved. Yes, so two reasons we seal it over the top. So now that napkin is sealed, if we go and put paint or ink on the top of it and we make a mistake, we can, once the acrylic matte medium is dry, we can wipe it off. So there's two advantages of it. We're just going to give it a quick dry. Just making sure I'm still in camera shot. I can't see the actual live version of the live. I watch it's about a 5-second delay on my phone just to make sure I keep in camera range, and it's funny that I see myself doing the step before I'm actually doing. So for this next step, it probably doesn't have to be 100% dry, as long as it doesn't have a lot of matte medium sitting on the top of it. Okay, now what? Now we're going to stick our girl back down here. This is what I do, put my focal image on and decide what other stuff we need. I think we need some more stuff here. So we're going to do a bit of stenciling in, let's not introduce another colour, but I don't want to do it blue. I don't want to do it blue. Do I want to do it pink? Orange. It's possibly not going to show up, but we're going to try it anyway. Do I want to do it with the same stencil but in the normal way, or do I want to do it with decisions? Let's do this way. So I'm going to grab a blending brush. If you keep seeing me reach up the top, I'm starting to have all my mostly used tools on my desk in arm's reach, which is really good. So I've grabbed a blending brush. These are fantastic to use with stencils and ink pads. I've grabbed archival ink pads only because the colours matched. You could use like Tim Holtz Oxides or Tim Holtz Distress or any other ink pad. The thing to bear in mind is archival ink pad is permanent, so I don't have to worry what I go and put on the next step. If you use like a Tim Holtz Oxide, you've got to remember that's a water reactive product. Be careful what you put on top of it, because I really don't know what's going to go on top of my art journal pages. I like the archival inks, because then I don't have to think or remember. Is this actually going to be showing up? We are soon going to find out. I don't know whether you can see that or not. No. Okay, not that colour. I don't think the pink's going to show up either. I might have to go the blue. So I want it to be subtle. I don't want it to be bold, but I want it to be showing up. Okay, that shows up a bit better than I expected. So I'm using the stencil in the opposite way. I'm putting colour through the stencil and the background, oh, I like that. The background colour is showing up as the stencil. And because I can keep matching up the stencil, it gives it a bit of consistency, cohesiveness. Oh God, words are really bad tonight. Usually I wouldn't sort of have stenciling all over my page, but that's happening tonight. I don't know, I'm probably making a mess, but a lot of this side's going to be covered up by that quote, so I'm not really fussed about that. I want this side to be a bit more subtle. I think it just needed something. I don't know. I often have a brilliant idea. Well, okay, I think it's a brilliant idea. I do it, and then it's like, oh God, what was I thinking? Which may be what I'm thinking in a minute. And the thing I like with the blending brushes is don't go into your wet gel medium, Melinda, is if you press harder, you get a darker colour. If you press really light, you can get a really light colour. And I'm trying to avoid going into the little bit of napkin that's still a little bit wet. It's looking very, very stencily. Just want to put a little bit in here, and hopefully I don't pick up the gel medium. I'll have to do that when it's dried, a bit more dried. Okay. I think what we might have to do is make our title and then see how much of this gets covered up with our title, and then go from there and see what else we need to do. I'm thinking we need some sort of border on the page to sort of contain it, because at the moment it's just all flowing off, sort of just, yeah, it needs a border. Okay, let's work on our title. So I'm just going to get my book out of the way for a minute. because with this napkin, if I go and stick this napkin directly on top of this, a lot of this text, or especially the sorry when I was, is going to get lost. So we're actually going to glue it to a white piece of paper, cut it out and stick it on. Then these colours will stay true. So sometimes I stick my napkins directly on my page, and you can sort of see there's a little bit of colour difference. You can see it here with the orange and the green showing through the napkin. But if I want the napkin to be seen in its full colour, I will stick it to a white sheet or another sheet of paper. So I'm just going to grab a piece of photocopy paper, printer paper. Lucky my printer's right next to me, that's really cool. Okay. Now, this particular one I'm going to cut with scissors. So I'm going to cut it into a panel of... I'm going to cut the panel so I just have one panel to work with. That's 2 panels, and cut this one. So if you're cutting a napkin, it's easier to cut the napkin with its white layers on than take the white layers off and try to cut the thinnest layer. That's what I find anyway. Okay, so am I going to glue it all in one piece, or am I going to cut it up first? No, I'm going to glue it all in one piece, except for the Hangry. We need to hopefully give it a haircut and change to Arty. We'll see what we can do. So I'm just going to cut through here, and then I'm going to peel the layers off. When you cut it, the layers sort of come off a bit easier, which is really cool. So now I've got my sorry for what I said when I was. So we need to not breathe on the napkin and it run away. So we need an A. So there's an A. The little bits I'm not going to keep. The big bits of napkin I do keep. Actually, now I've got that water. Let's throw those 2 brushes in water. I have a bad habit of leaving my brushes with paint in them to go yucky and leave them on my desk. Now R is going to be interesting because, and the Y, A-R-T. Oh, be good if the R and the Y could stay together, couldn't it? That's right, it's just going to have a funny bit on it. So we've got A-R-T. We are going to butcher the H to make a T somehow. How are we going to do that? I want a long strip. No reason why I couldn't use letter stickers for this as well. That's a bit long. So we're going to T. And we're going to use this big long one this side. And if I cut it with some of the dark blue, I can always cut the dark blue off after I've stuck it on. And I want to cut the dark blue off now. See how fiddly it is to cut the napkin when it's down to 1 layer. And when it's this small. Oh God, I have some brilliant ideas, don't I? Some days they're not so brilliant. Oh, it's going to be fiddly to stick down. And then we've got an NG. I'll put that back with my napkin. I'll just use that for coloured in the background. Now, what I think I'm going to do is stick the T down, and then I'm going to fussy cut it out, and then I'm going to put it on some blue, put some blue paint on here, and then it will be matching the other one. Okay, let's stick all this down. Let's find what I used for, I think I used this one for the matte medium. So we're just going to use the same matte medium, just getting the water out of my brush, that we used for the acrylic matte medium, the same we used for the, obviously the napkin before. And we are going to have to find a deep blue paint in a minute. Okay, let's do the big one first. Oops, that's probably a bit too much. Oh, maybe not. Looks like you put a lot down and then you go to spread it out. And so again, starting in the middle, as I've got lots of stuff on my paintbrush, and I'm just going to grab some of the extra that's sitting outside, leave the napkin set down, tiny bit more. You do want to have a fair bit in your brush when you're brushing over the top, and it allows your brush to be a bit smoother when it's gliding across the top. Okay, not going to work over that anymore. And just put some up here at the top. Stick the A down. And I think sticking this title on will actually take away a bit of that heaviness. Whoops, we had the second layer on the R. And the second layer on the Y. We didn't take those off. Sorry, just catching up with comments. Oh, Sandra, I'm going to cut them up. So I'm not putting them in order on the bit of paper. But yeah, I just didn't realise I did that. I'm the queen of spelling mistakes. I am dreadful. But no, these are going to be cut up into individual bits. And I've got to cut the T out anyway, because I want to put it on a little bit of blue paint to make it look like the other ones. So don't fear, I haven't mucked it up yet. But thanks for pointing that out. Oh, I didn't take the second bit off that. I often have to get my daughter to come in and proofread my things that I send out or words that I make, because often I don't know, I'm just terrible. But no, this is all going to be cut up. Okay, so that's all stuck on. Let's see if I can put this bit of gel medium that I didn't use back in here. Probably not. It's not that much anyway. I'm just going to make a mess of my lid. I've actually been known to make scrapbook pages and art journal pages, finish them, and then my daughter goes, "You've got a spelling mistake, Mum." It's like, thanks, you could have told me that 5 minutes ago. Okay, we're going to put that aside to dry. Actually, before we do that, we're going to, is it that colour? Or is it darker? I think it's going to have to be a bit darker. Might have to go find my night paint. Or is it that colour? No, I think it is that colour. So let's just do a square of this, about how big we want it. So I'm going to cut the T out and mount the T on a little square of this so it will match the other colours. Is it going to be big enough? That's going to be big enough now. Okay. Clean off the blue off my finger. I've already got white up my arm from before. Give that a quick bit of a dry. So picking up your paper helps to dry it quicker, because the heat can penetrate to the back a lot quicker. You can also dry it from the back. I can see it's all wet on the back still. That I might leave for a couple of minutes. It's almost dry. Let's bring our page back in and decide if we're going to do any more on our page before our title comes back in. the page is growing on me. I didn't know whether I liked the blue and the Sedona when I first started, but it's getting there. So now these flowers are almost dry as well. Actually, the word Arty is dry, so let's cut that out. Because I really want to put my title on and see if I need to do anything else to the page. Because it's going to cover up a lot of that side of the page. So there's the A. Oops. Oh, they're going to get a bit lost. Okay, maybe we're mounting them on white. Let's cut them out and see how we go. Okay, let's cut these with a little bit of white around them. And then I might just put some white back around the A. So I hope everyone's had a good day today, getting into the Christmas spirit. Hoping to use some of our Christmas napkins and make something Christmassy tomorrow. I just wasn't feeling Christmassy today. It's only December 2nd. I haven't even got our tree out, and I haven't got anything done. I've got to wrap all our presents this weekend. Or wrap some of my daughter's presents this weekend. So that'll put me in the Christmas spirit. And I like the oversized tee. Probably needs a little bit more time to dry, but we're just going to go with it. So now to match the T to those other letters, I'm going to stick it on the here, so it has that same blue background. Grab some glue, just some good old craft glue. Oops. Oh, come on. Stick down. Stop sticking to me. Really? Stick to the bit of paper, not to me. That would be handy. Cut this out like a square. And look, it doesn't look like we've butchered the letter and had to change it round. Even though it's slightly bigger. Okay, but I think we do need to mount the A on a bit of white and probably the T just to give it that white boy back. Come on, glue. Be nice to me today. So I'm just going to stick that A back on there and we're going to stick the T on just so they stand out a bit more on the page. And once I've got my title sitting on my page, I can work out what else I want to do the page, and it will sort of balance it up. I think it needs a bit more work, that background. So we've got, oh, that's the Y. I was thinking that was the A upside down. AR. So Arty will go down here somewhere. And then, oh, that's still a bit wet. Okay, if I start cutting from the bottom, I've got a wet blob on the side. Let's get rid of that before I put my hand in it. So I'll start down this end because that top bit's still a bit wet. Ideally, I probably would have stuck this down first before I started even my background, and it would have had time to dry completely, but, well, I didn't think of that, did I? I often have these brilliant ideas halfway through my art journal page, and it's like, why didn't I start and do that, and then it would have had time to dry. When I can cut these down further if I need to. Problem with cutting up things like this is I often forget what the saying is and then sit there and try to put them back together. At least with the napkin, you've got a second napkin to refer back on. I do that with letter stickers all the time, little phrases. So what I said when I okay. I think I'm going to bring the word Arty over here a bit so it connects to both sides of the page. So down here a bit. What I said I'm going to leave in one big bit. And now I've just got to decide. Actually, I don't really want to cover up that flower, so let's cut sorry for into two pieces. Sorry for what I said when I was arty. Probably should say arting when I was arting, but we're going to go with arty because they're the letters we got. I'm just going to go with it. It needs a bit more glue under it. The correct phrase would probably be arting, but that's right. Art journaling doesn't have to have grammar and spelling, does it? Oh, I don't know. This, I want to trim a little bit more off this side. See how that sort of calms the background down a bit because we're covering a lot of it up. Well, in my mind we are. So she's going to sit over here. Now, what else do we want to do? Do I want to stick my title down? I think I'm going to stick my title down because I think I'm happy where that is. Definitely need something around the border, and I think I'm going to do a bit of paint around the border. And then we're going to decide what we're going to do. So let's stick this down. Let's make a decision. I could sit here and procrastinate all night because that's usually how I do, or move things around 100 times, but I like where it is. So we're just going to go for it. Very different colours than I work with, so it's, now I'm sorry, where we're going to do, we're going to move that over there. But the colours come out of the napkins, so sometimes the napkins or the products we pick to use dictate our colours. What I said when I think I'll bring this one over here a bit. Get that blob of glue off my page. And the colours in this wordy napkin and the colours in the other napkin sort of closely matched enough to... Come on, glue. Because I have to refill my glue again. Okay, what I might do is stick the T down first. So the T is going to go just slightly... Now too much glue is coming out. Seriously. I'm going to go just this side of the double page, and then the Y is going to hang out this side. Let's do the Y on an angle, maybe. No, maybe not. Come on. No, let's do it straight. Oh, God. Let's do it straight. Really? I've got more glue on my fingers than I have on these pieces at the moment. Come on, stick. That would be nice. And not to my fingers. So I may go around all of that once that glue is dry with a black paint pen just to ground it to the page. But I've got to wait for all my glue to dry before I do that. Oh, come on, glue. What is wrong with gluing tonight? It just doesn't want to glue. It doesn't want to stick. or get too much. Okay, it's getting there. Oh. She's going to come down here. I don't think I'm going to do anything to the black die cut. I like the black silhouettes popping off a nice colourful background. Just got to decide what I want to do. It's looking a bit, I don't know. It's looking a bit, I don't know. Let's do something with a border and then we'll decide what we're going to do. So I was thinking with a border was to use a bit of the dark blue paint and sort of give it a border with a sponge. We'll see how that works. It looks good in my head, putting a bit of blue around the edge. We'll see if it actually looks good. I'm just going to put a bit on this paper. And dab our sponge in and dab it off. I don't want much on my sponge. And just sort of give it a bit of an edge. Put a big blob there. So I want to give it a border, but I want the border to be sort of subtle, but sort of not. I don't know. Hard to explain. I like bordering a lot of my pages, whether it's quite complicated border or whether it's just a squiggly line. It tends to make your eye not wander off the page as much. So I'm trying to only get a little bit of paint. I'm not minding that it's not straight. That's okay. The black die cut will probably ground to the bottom of the page. You can sort of see the border a bit more where it's not, the blue's not the main colour. Just going to go up the top. Usually I'd pick my book up and turn it around all different directions, but I don't want to make you seasick, so I'll do it this way. There we go, that sort of framed it a little. Gotta be careful, that's a bit wet in places still. Okay. Might be time to stick her on. I can see a few other ideas with this black die cut scrolling around in my head. This is looking a bit empty. I don't know, or is it just me? Will we... I don't want to bring any more darkness into it, so I don't want to use those blue flowers, but maybe... That's half a flower. Not all the pink ones are half a flowers. Maybe it needs some more subtleness up here. Let's grab some water and sit that on the page and see what I think it will look like. Take that big bit of white off over there. I just think maybe we need to cluster this a bit more up here, maybe, I don't know. It's just looking a bit naked, looking a bit bare, but I don't want that blue. I'll leave that blue for another day. Maybe if we sort of and something over there. Maybe this bit. So I love the napkins. You can just pull little bits out, and when you glue them all on, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of little bits joined together. Or if you look close enough, you can probably see it, but usually you can't see where the... Just want to get rid of that dark bit of green on that fold. And I think that's going to tone down the blue a bit. Let's go with it. Let's make a decision. Stop procrastinating. Because I could procrastinate all night and sit here and move 100 things around. Trying to not procrastinate so much with my art journaling. And that's why lives are good. I can't sit here and move it around 200 times. I have to sit and make a decision. And stick and plonk, as they say. Okay, let's put some glue under here. So this will just add a bit of subtleness. And you will get the colours coming through, but that's okay. So it's subtle, but it's not... Where'd that little bit go? Now I've moved it. I don't know where I had it. So that bit and that bit comes... Where do I have that bit? It's got a bit dark green. I could sit and fiddle for hours and move things around. Some of my art journal pages do take hours. Or they get sort of stopped halfway through because I don't know what I'm doing. And then I come back to it a while later. And try not to rip that. Trying to also not get my head in the shot. I apologise if you see my big head. For anyone that's new to my business or myself, I do have low vision. So sometimes when I'm gluing something or trying to line something up, I have to be quite close to what I'm doing so I can actually see what I'm doing. And then my big head gets in under the camera. I'm trying different camera angles, but I haven't found one. If I change the angle of the camera, that means you get a skew width of the page. And personally, I don't like looking at videos that the page is either upside down or skew whiffy. So yeah, I haven't found a good new camera angle yet. I think that's just added some subtleness without being too much, and it's calmed down that blue a bit. Look at that, a little bit of paper sticking hanging out there. While that's drying, we're going to stick our girl on. We're nearly done. Oh wow, have I been going an hour and a half? Jeez, time flies when you aren't journaling. I don't know. Okay, gluing. That's what I'm doing. Gluing the girl down. So these black cardstock die cuts can be reversed. Sometimes you can see a bit of... on the black it's really hard to see, but obviously they're laser cuts, so they're burnt with a laser. It's really cool to watch them. I should film a bit and put it up on YouTube so you guys can see it one day. So you can reverse the images. Sometimes you just have to take a bit of black ink or a bit of black paint and put it on the black cardstock if you want to use it. If you want to turn it and do it the opposite way, so the girl's facing the opposite direction. We're going to use it this way. You notice the black marks, or they're like burn marks, brown marks on the white cardstock a bit more. But you usually colour the white cardstock, so it doesn't matter. So I don't need to get glue everywhere, just wanting to get it on a bit on each of the things so it sticks down. So I usually aim for the fattest pieces, and then any skinny pieces I put it on as well. So I actually want to ground her to the ground, I think. So after the live, I will take a photo of this and put it up on... Oh! I've just got glue on the top of her. Really, I'm getting glue everywhere tonight. Everywhere where I don't want it. All thumbs today. So, sorry, as I was saying, I will take a picture of this and then link all the products I've used on the page in that post on Facebook, so you can find any of the products that I've used. So we're starting to do that with all the even the design team people that put up, design team members that put up different works of art. We're linking all the products in the comments that they've used, so they're easy to go find. Okay, I think we are going to get that bit of napkin out of the way. Grab a black paint pen and just go around our title with a small black line and then call it done. So I might use that pen as opposed to a paint pen. You should use a paint pen, but there might be a bit of wet glue under it, and this type of pen you cannot affect with paint pens. If you go through wet stuff, it can break the pen. But this one, the Uniball I one, are really hard to break. Very hard to wreck them. So I'm just going to do, and this is a nice fine line too, a little sketchy line just around the letters, just helps to ground them. And it will also put black somewhere else on the page than the black die cut. It's quite subtle, but it's makes the title stand out. I've got blue paint over here. I want to, this is how I clean my sponges. Grab my scissors, snip the bit off that's dirty, and then I'd have to wash my sponges. Let me get rid of this little bit of paper that's got blue paint on it, because I can see my arm going in it, because I actually need to turn my book around, and I can get this bit of paper out here. It's just protecting my other pages from getting paint or ink or goop all over my pages. That's going to fall where I sit it. Let's put that there. This time I am going to turn my book around, because it's so much easier for me to do this when I can turn my book around. And I think this is going to be the last step. Is it my favourite art journal page? No. Is it growing on me and I'm liking it more? Yes. It's, for me, art journaling, it's not about the finished project. Oh, it looks like I've got to get some more glue for this one. The glue's playing up today. It just doesn't want to be nice. So art journaling for me is more about taking the time and playing, getting dirty, getting messy, doing something. If I get to the end of it and it's not my favourite page, or it's not, or if I'm not happy with it, I'm okay with that. As I said, this is growing on me. I'm liking it more and more. I will leave this open on my desk and walk past it for the next couple of days, and then it will grow on me some more. That's what I tend to do with my latest art journal pages, is leave them open on my desk. And then walk past it every time I walk into the room, and it tend to like it a bit more. Or if I really like the page, I like to stare at it a bit more. Let's see if I can get glue under these bits. I did a really bad job of gluing, didn't I? Or I blame the glue. I think I need to refill my glue. Okay. And it's always nice to experiment with different colours. This is not my usual colour palette. I like a bit more brighter colours. But I do like starting with a napkin, and that's where the colours come from. So I pulled this napkin to start with, just because it was like arty flowers and it looked like something someone had painted. So this is where I pulled the colours from. So the sort of tried to match up the blue, tried to match up the lime, tried to match up the blushing, which was not the best match, and this one was not the best match, but it was the best I had, and Sedona. So that's where the colours come from. And then the, sorry for what I said when I was Hangry napkins, sort of, when I pulled that out, it sort of had the same colours in it, which was really cool. I think I'm going to call that done. This is still drying up here. I could continue and keep fiddling and do some more stuff, but knowing when to stop and walk away is a skill I'm still learning. Sometimes I will do an extra step and then go, oh my god, what was I thinking? Often I'll do that, but I think I'm going to stop. So thank you very much for joining me tonight, or if you've watched me in the replay over the weekend or in the future, thanks for watching. So we've got our new release on the website as of December 2023, so all the new products that we've played with. And I hope to be back on Sunday, which is tomorrow, if you're watching this in real time, the 3rd of December, with hopefully a Christmas live. Inspiration hasn't struck yet for a Christmas thing. Hopefully overnight I get some ideas. And I will see you tomorrow for a live with playing with some of our other products that we've got on our website. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch my video, and I will see you again another day. Bye for now. Have a great evening.